Okay, well, hello. I am live and welcome to part two of this three-part series on the stain of stigma in our community. The first part was on Saturday, right? The 5th of February 2022. And I want to thank everybody for all the engagement, all those who viewed, all those who have shared. I think that we really want to get these conversations going. We want to normalize them because we are just sick and tired of all of this stigma in our community. And we were looking at stigma of all angles last on Saturday. And today I really want to focus on stigma due to our mental health conditions, mental illness. My name is Maria Banga, and I'm the founder and CEO of Hope for the Abused and the Battered. And I am the one who is coordinating all of this work. One of the focus areas of our organization is being the hope for mental health and mental illness. And personally, I live with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I had a brother who was diagnosed with epilepsy and also had different mental health challenges until his demise in 2014. Indeed, that's my brother's picture right behind me there. So that means that I am at my mom's place. So I'm excited to be doing this from here. And I started a minute or two early because, well, there's no electricity and I'm not sure my battery is going to hang on for too long. And secondly, because of the anxiety that built up all day to have this going, I just started to go on live a few 1 or 2 minutes to time. So I invited Marc back because he wasn't able to join us last Saturday. Marc is the founder of Pure Hope, right? Which is what can I say? It's an organization. He's going to talk to us about Pure Hope in a moment. He's already with us, so I'm just going to add him to the stream. Hi, Marc.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
Doing good. I'm okay, and I'm
I
I'm
haven't
happy to be
seen you.
here.
I haven't seen you since the new year.
Yeah, the internet helps.
Yeah, the internet actually have no. I have seen you virtually. That is true, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining today, and I really hope that we will be able to have like 30 good minutes of conversations and just catching up and talking about our our experiences, right? Lived
Experiences.
experiences, keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would introduce yourself, but you are not only a son, you are not only a mentee, you are not only a, what can I say, but we also belong to the Global Mental Health Care Network together, right?
Yeah.
And so it is part of our kind of say our work to actually talk about these kind of things and normalize the conversation. So go ahead and introduce yourself and also talk to us about Pure Hope. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks again, mom, for the opportunity. So, just as the name reads, I'm Marc Julien. I'm a Cameroonian, and I'm 25. I'll be 26 years this year. And
Oh,
yeah, I really emphasize on the age because it's very important for young people to get involved in movements like this, to get involved and try to bring their voices with their experiences on such subjects and such topics. So yeah, Pure Hope is an organization, a young organization that is really out there to create awareness with issues related to mental health, like bring out information, talk against stigma. And also one of the things we do, but we have not really been able to really put in place, is to refer people to professionals, because some people contacted me, but they, when we want to refer them, they are not willing, saying that maybe those professionals are not trustworthy, or like those professionals don't have the experience like in the countries abroad. So generally, that's just what we try to do, like raise awareness, create information, try to bring our life experiences, tell people that hey, we have been here, and we are still going through these phases. It takes time to grow, it takes time to heal. So there's a possibility for you to identify yourself with other people that have gone through what you are going through, for you to know that you are not alone. And there are places like this, there are organizations like this in Cameroon, that are really willing to help and assist people. So that's just the general idea of Pure Hope and what we do.
I really like what you do. I think that you reach out to me. I don't even know where you found me, but I mean, just remind me, right? Or remind
Okay, so
us.
yeah, actually, I was doing a research work. I was doing a research work, but at the same time, I also needed during that period to talk to a professional. But the issue is, I didn't know, or I didn't believe that there were people actually in that field in Cameroon. Yeah, so I spent like a week on Google just trying to research and type every kind of, words together to come up with the information. But most of the things I saw was centered about professionals at the hospital, and with this issue of really psychiatric problems and all of that. So I insisted, and one day I stumbled on this website that suggested two people. And I saw your name and I saw one other man in Bonaprizo or something like that. I was like, well, and seeing your name actually, and I saw like a picture of you. Honestly, like the image that came to my mind was like, this woman seems to, I mean, she looks like somebody that will understand and welcome me. So I took your
Hola.
number. Yeah, I took your number from, I don't know, my camera is a little, I'm trying to, voila,
Yeah,
focus.
that's
Okay.
better.
Yeah, so I took your number from that website, and yeah, I saw it you had a WhatsApp contact through it. So I tried to reach out to you, and I was really surprised. I was really surprised by the way you received me, because you don't know somebody and I'm just sending you all this information. Hey, I saw your number. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. I even remember sending you the project I was working on,
Yeah,
and
you
you made
did.
time. Yeah, you made time immediately. The next day you called for me that I should come and see you, and I was like, wow, okay. So it was really amazing to me. It was really amazing to me. And one of the things that stood out to me was, um I saw the difference in the way you work. Like the your aspect, you are not really oriented in just making money, you see. Like you're really oriented in like helping people. Like helping people. And I remember we spoke and I tried to share a little with you about what I was going through at the moment. And yeah, in the back of my head, I was like, wow, I just had like a free session. Like this is something I would have paid, yeah, for with the quality of advice, with the quality of time too that you gave, like really listening and taking your time for somebody that you don't know. It was really amazing to me. So that's that's how we met. And ever since then, like you told me, the house is my house, the office is my office. And yeah, it was really a beautiful encounter. It was really a privilege to know you. And I've learned a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things being with you and helping you as I can.
And you even still have the keys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you know, Mark, one of the reasons why I talk to everybody, especially young people, is because
Mm-hmm.
in each of you I see not only my brother but even my children, right? When I
Yeah.
was in the university, because we're also talking about stigma, and you know, stigma is that mark of shame you can put on
Mm-hmm.
yourself or the society can put on you. And you know, for example, those young people you said want to reach out, want to be helped, but they're not sure about the people that they're going to be introduced to. It's also because they're holding themselves back. They're afraid that those people will judge
Exactly.
them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we generally don't talk, but I want to talk about things. So when I was in the university in year two, I got pregnant, right? But I was so
Mm-hmm.
scared about what my mother would do to me that I didn't
Yeah.
even tell her. I just went and had an abortion. I know these are things that we have to talk about because there's so many other people who do those kind of things and they suffer with them, and you know things can go wrong, and then either people will know and still stigmatize them, or they're just going to die from all of that frustration and from all of those things, right? And if
Yeah.
that my
Yeah.
daughter had been alive, she would have been 26.
Wow.
or 25. So anybody, I remember I told you that anybody from your age going down is my
Mm-hmm.
child, and
Mm-hmm.
I cannot talk to my child like I don't care,
Mm-hmm.
or to a young person, especially a young person who is going through or has gone through some challenges that I myself might have also gone through at their age, and maybe did not have anybody I could talk to, or there was nothing like social media where you could even read what some people will
Yeah.
write,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that we are not many like myself who write what I write, I know, but at least I'm even there, and there might be a few others. And which makes young people, a lot of young people reach out to me and they're like, oh, mom, I even wanted to stop doing some things like talking about sports and all of that, but they said, please continue. It's helping us a lot. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, for you people, I will keep doing this because it's also important to normalize the conversation. So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit really about stigma. I don't know if you would mind or to share a little about your own personal experience with stigma, but I would not mind sharing about my own and about my brother's own of blessed
Mm-hmm.
memory. But I wrote a book already, so there's nothing I'm saying here which is not found somewhere. But before I talk, do you mind sharing? I mean, not necessarily in detail, but have you had any personal experience with stigma?
Yeah, I've had, and I don't mind sharing. And actually,
Okay.
since we have been talking about, like relationship, like a mother towards younger people, a son or a daughter, you see, when it comes to stigma particularly, I remember we've worked on this research program, and there were suggestions like, does stigma come mostly from family? Does it come from the community, from within, or from external, from external reasons? Yeah, one of the things, since we have been talking about motherhood or parenting, one of the things that really like trigger or build up stigma, it's the way parents in Africa really don't attend to emotional needs of their children at a very young age. You see, so generally is that I'm paying your school fees, I'm putting food on the table, and that's all. Any other thing that you want to add on top of it, no. You don't have the right to say anything. You don't have the right to express yourself. Like very few parents give the opportunity to their children to do that. So
Mhm.
it really builds up there. I mean, for most of the people in my age group, yeah, it really started from there. Growing up with parents, aunties, uncles that don't give you that opportunity to express yourself. So you grow up with a sense of fear. You grow up with a sense of shame, thinking that
Ah,
if your parents, for example, cannot listen to you, it's very difficult for others out there to also listen to you or accept you. Yeah, accept what you're going through, or try to support you. Yeah, so
and so you close up
exactly.
and
So
you
that
start
shell, it
coping in
starts.
some unhealthy ways, right?
Exactly. So personally, that's how it built up with me. Like, it's really now that my parents get to be understanding. Like, I do not grow up with my parents, but I had my grandparents around, aunties and uncles. But they really get to be understanding now. But really, before, when you want to say something, is that no, first of all, you are not big. And funny enough, you are never big enough. You see, when you want to express yourself, is that no, you don't
What do
have
they
the
say in
age to.
French? What do they say in French? In English, they say children should be seen and not heard. Can you imagine that? In French, what do they say?
Que les enfants doivent être vus, mais pas entendus.
Oh my goodness. As if they're not human
So
beings,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So it really made me to be a quiet and reserved person, and I was looking up to the people I was growing with at the time for the support, for the understanding, for the patience. Because it's true, sometimes you also get to do things that are wrong, but in a bid to correct you as a
Probably
child.
due to peer pressure also, and due to the need to
Exactly,
belong. Because if you cannot belong at home, you try to go belong outside, you realize you have to do some funny things to belong, and those things land you into
exactly,
trouble, and then you go back home and they whack you.
exactly. So from there, like I was exposed now to other things that kind of fill that void, you see. So I made friends. and the friends introduced me, be it to drugs, be it to alcohol, be it to, sex and all of that. And it's fulfilling for a while. It gives you like some sense
For a
of
while,
pleasure. It makes you feel big.
temporal. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you feel big, but at a point reality hits you. You're like, okay, there is still this thing. Yeah, there's still this thing. And at the same time, the effects, for example, one of the things that really like caused a lot of depression and discouragement and low self-esteem was the effect of smoking, for example, on me, you see. And there was this point, like, I smoked so much to a point where I started developing some chest pains and I was coughing out
Oh.
blood, like, yeah, two
Oh
years ago. So,
no.
so
Yeah.
I was battling with that. I was like, at any time I can die, but I cannot go to my parents and I'm like, hey, I've been smoking. This is what has been that was just been making things worse for me. So I just stayed there. And at the same time, like, the general idea they have about people that do drugs or smoke is that either you are some criminal, you are some, Yahoo boy and all these things. For me, it was just an escape route. I was just trying to use it to like forget about what I was going through. Yeah, so I had to keep it to myself. And there were many times that I was at the point of, committing an act of suicide. But I could talk to a friend or two that will tell me that, hey, I'm here for you. But I really needed the people that mattered the most for me back then to maybe help me, to maybe understand me, to maybe, I don't know, try to like accept the fact that we all make mistakes and we can help you grow through it. We can help you learn through it. So that's how it played out for me. It played out for me. And even amongst my peers, even amongst my friends, it's a topic that we don't really like to mention much, because first of all, with ego, with pride, it's very difficult to admit that you are weak. Yeah, we
Or that
live
you're
in a time where,
struggling.
yeah, exactly, we live in a time where, like, everybody is picture perfect. Online we all appear to be good.
Selfie.
Yeah, so nobody wants to lay down his guard. There were sometimes I looked at my phone and I saw pictures and I'm like, these people, they're enjoying a good life and I'm just here. So you feel like you are the only one that has messed up and everybody is, you know. So it makes you to not even feel like to speak. You cannot
And
talk
that is
because
actually now stigmatizing yourself, right?
exactly, yeah,
More and
from person,
more.
yeah, yeah,
Because you
yeah.
feel more and more shit, like you feel like I'm of no use, right?
Exactly. So now it start affecting you from within. It affects your image, and you start having a lot of low self-esteem, a lot of doubts for the future. And if you are not lucky enough, or if God doesn't intervene, yeah, there are many people that now involve themselves into some other extra terrible things to seem relevant, you see, to seem
Yeah.
relevant, to be like, I can also train. So that's a big problem. That's a big problem. And one thing, while I was like thinking about what we are going to share, one thing that also came to my mind was the bullying aspect of it.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, both physically and also online, you see. So if you come
Mm-hmm.
out there and you're like, hey, I'm dealing with this thing right now, or maybe I've been having this mental health issue, and it can maybe affect me physically. So like people raining down insults on you and not trying to, like, understand what's going. I can imagine
Yeah.
for the case of your junior brother with the book I read, you see.
Yeah.
I can i can imagine maybe if I was in his place, or somebody like Ekema, you see, if I was
Mm-hmm.
in their place and I may be in a school milieu. In our days it's very difficult because there is a lot of bullying. There is a lot
Mm-hmm.
of, you don't belong. You
There
don't
was back
belong.
then too. Yeah.
I can imagine. So now with the whole social media age and all of that, it's
Terrible.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen where they make videos of people like that and mock them and put it online. And they go in, they isolate themselves, they try to. I remember last 2 years, there's this young girl in Ghana that committed suicide for something like that in a school. She was filmed and her friends were laughing at her
Last
and
year, even in South Africa.
well, exactly. So
Mhm.
it's generally things like that and how it can affect us.
And before I share more of our own experience, I want to just ask you, Mark, did it get to a point where you had to go to the hospital, for example, or do you know anybody who has had to go to the hospital because of their problems, and what has been the reception at the hospital?
Okay, I remember I knew of one person, but that was when I was a little bit younger. But actually,
Mm-hmm.
when he went to the hospital, he was told that his case cannot be treated. And his parents also concluded or assumed that it's some spiritual kind of something. So amongst the children, he's the bad egg because he had this crisis. Like he would just all of a sudden get angry and start hitting at people, you see.
Yeah, probably
And I
schizoaffective problems, whatever. But
exactly.
the hospital that they didn't
Mm-hmm.
even they said it could not be treated. So he was
Yeah.
already
So
just
back then,
rejected,
that's
right?
exactly. And until today in the quarter, he just walks around like that. And everybody's like, he has a problem. We
Full
know he
blown,
has a problem.
full blown,
Yeah, and
yeah.
they avoid it. They
And they
avoid him.
avoid it.
So that's the
And maybe they
mm-hmm.
even mock him now and stigmatize him further.
Yeah. Like they give him names and all of that. So that's the only person I've known.
You know, when I was small, they even used to shoot stones at these people. Can you imagine that? I remember I
Oh.
used to tell my friends who were living in Dido, I'm like, why are you throwing him stones? Like, I didn't even know what I know today,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it was so wrong to shoot stones at another
Mm-hmm.
human being, whatever be the case,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And
mm.
today I realized
Yeah,
that is
very
all
true.
stigma. And those children did not even know what that person could be going through, or it's just fun. And that is the same thing that people do on social media now. You see, like this Cameroonian
Mm,
player who missed the penalty. I'm even surprised to know he's not the only person who missed the penalty, but I saw his picture on social media. They wrote on it wanted, and stuff like that. And I'm like, do
mm.
people think about what this young man could be going to, just realizing that he is now like the black sheep of the country, to the
Exactly.
point where he had to write some long apology for what? For missing a penalty.
Exactly. And talking about that, it's like you even actually owe an apology to yourself for doing a mistake or being who you are, or going through
For
what you are going
trying.
through at the
Of
moment.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
because a child has a right to express themselves. But you've come to my house, you've seen how expressive my people are. I mean, if they cannot
Mm-hmm.
express themselves, anything they can do anything, and it's going to also affect me in the long run. And what the child becomes tomorrow, if they take it out on you and they're angry with you, how are you going to feel as a parent? So the best thing
Yeah.
is try to have that relationship with the child from the beginning, as early as you can, so that they don't feel like cut off from you, because just providing is not enough. I
Mm-hmm.
just watched
Mm-hmm.
something on Facebook right now, not a while ago. A father was beating his child. Like, he said he spent 22,000 US dollars on the child's fees, and the child failed the exams. And I was like, but instead of beating that child, could you sit down with the child? Like, could you find out, could you have a conversation with this child? Now he's
Mm-hmm.
already, and then the child's junior brother was sitting opposite, just looking. So he's already just ostracizing that child in front of the junior brother, just stereotyping the child, qualifying him bad child, useless child, good for
Mm-hmm.
nothing child. The child is internalizing all of those things. Then the child might
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah. There are many things like that. I remember one time in secondary school, we had this classmate and he was we were in a boarding school actually, so he was punished and it was during the GCE period, the advanced level. And I'm like, how can you punish a student in a period like that? And not only was he punished, he was also like starved, like he didn't have food. So he got angry and was like, well, there's no problem. Let me leave the school. Let me go home because I cannot be writing an exam and I'm working punishment. I'm not eating. That's not the best condition. So when he went back home, his father came back with him to school and he tried to talk with the school administration about what really happened. And directly the administrators in the school, it's like they started saying so many bad things about him, and they turned his father against him, and his father really beats him up in front of the whole school. Like
And
imagine,
just
and
spoiled
he
it
even
all.
like, yeah, he was even bleeding at the point, and it was just horrible to us
Oh
young students,
no.
and we were like
Oh,
the
everybody was
disgrace and the
traumatized
shame.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the
You
the,
know,
the there are things like that. Mm-hmm.
talking about boarding school, my brother went to, because my brother was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 11. That's very young. And you don't really know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. And in the first school where we were together, there was a lot of support. But the
Mm-hmm.
school was very far. It was in the village, like 8 hours from here. So um, my
Mm-hmm.
mom, because of the crisis and everything, wanted to bring him to a school closer to the city, right? And so she put him in some boarding schools in Boya. The first boarding school, he didn't even finish a term. Look, it was a mission school and everything, but the first crisis he had, they just said, well, polite dismissal. Please come and take him. We can't deal with him. Can you imagine how
Mm-hmm.
much
Mm-hmm.
stigma that was?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How,
Mm-hmm.
can somebody bring epilepsy upon themselves?
Exactly.
He
Exactly.
that
And,
thing
and
never that thing never got off his head. That incident, he was always reminding me, and I also felt so bad about it. Like,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and if it
Mm-hmm.
was in another family, they might actually feel that you are such a lost case, and they will just remove you from school altogether. Just go and dump you
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
It
really it.
happened a
And
second time. She changed the school. Another crisis. Come and collect. So
mm-hmm.
he ended up
Mm-hmm.
going to a day school, right? That's where he had his A levels. But just imagine the effect that kind of stigma and from such an institution could have on him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It made him start to doubt himself too. Like, what is this thing? And of course, it could make our family also think this thing might actually be spiritual or it might be some witchcraft or something. And
Yeah,
all of that mixture now just makes it more complicated because you don't even know what to do about the whole situation.
it's
By the time
exactly.
you figure out that, well, God can help you and you can, all of that, you don't know what has happened to the brain by that time.
Already, yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
In my own case, I was the one stigmatizing myself because I want to also talk about this other aspect that people who are
Mm-hmm.
very expressive, high functioning, like this Miss USA who died by suicide a few days ago. They said she was
Mm-hmm.
living with high functioning depression, which is also something I don't think many people know about it. People can look
Mm-hmm.
very well, very happy, very excited, doing all the things that they are doing during the day, but once they are alone, it is terrible. I cannot look at myself in
Yeah.
the mirror. I feel so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, as long as I'm doing something and people are clapping for me, I'm good. But when I'm
Yeah,
alone,
exactly.
I start feeling
Mm-hmm.
terrible about
Mm-hmm.
myself. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't want people not to clap for you. You don't want people to feel that um, you are faking it. You see the
Mm-hmm.
pictures people take. You use the filters. You put everything. Because you just want things to be perfect. You want to have the best picture, the thousands of likes, and all of those things. So imagine the day you don't have all of that. You can do anything, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
when things really started to get so bad for me, like in my marriage and everywhere, I could not talk to anybody because I was
Yeah.
like, how can me? I just passed the bar exam. I used to work for NTN. How can I say that I'm losing my mind? How can I say that, I cannot sleep at night? How can I say that? How can I say that? How can I say that? So that was self stigma in my case. I can't
Mm-hmm.
really talk about any other source because I didn't even have the opportunity to go to any hospital here because I didn't even know where to go to, which is another
Mm-hmm.
thing. All this shortage of resources, you see, when that family went to that one hospital and the one hospital said we cannot do anything, maybe they did not have money to take him to another hospital. And
Yeah,
sometimes you
yeah.
need professional, specialized people. I had to do psychology again. I had to do therapy to be able to do those things. It's not just like, well, you're just a doctor and so well you can deal with people who have mental health problems, right? But
Mm-hmm.
how
Mm-hmm.
many do we have in Cameroon? So that also
Ah,
makes that sometimes when you have those challenges, you just keep them to yourself because you don't know where to go to, and which is not
mm.
going to cost you much money, right?
Very true. And just listening to you also, you know, like there is the stigma on mental health itself. And
Mm.
sometimes I also feel like there is kind of a stigma built on mental health facilitators or activists, you see,
Uh-huh.
because I've had to talk like with some students studying psychology, for example, or trying to get involved into therapy and counseling. You see,
Mhm.
like they'll
Mhm.
always ask them the question, "Where are you going to with this? We don't need this here. It can offer you any opportunity." You see, and many along the line they have like a burden to help. They are willing to like do something, but they get discouraged because society is also like that's reserved for white people, it's for European people or some other developed countries, you see. So it's really even hard for you to hold on there and say, hey, I'm committed to this course, I need to study this, to go out there and help the others. So it makes it even difficult for people to really stand, and for the government to even consider that, hey, there are so and so people trying to do something in this field and we can try to assist them. People don't consider that at all. Yeah, for example, there are many times like I try to like talk about you to some people and they're like, psychologist in Cameroon, and people are surprised, they are shocked, you see. And there is no interest, there is no interest, there is no desire to seek professional help, you see. So they either like abandon you by yourself, call you by names, or say it's something demonic, it's something spiritual, you did some crazy thing and this is the effect on you. And that's how things get worse, because even referring somebody to some professional, it's also complicated, it's also another issue.
Sometimes
So
it's not even because the family doesn't have money, but they don't think that it is worth spending the money in that way. What do you think?
exactly, no, it's really the case, it's really the case.
Yeah. So what can we do? Because I don't want us to just go on talking without making any recommendations or just talking about something. You never know the little thing you do. It can have a ripple effect, and you never
Mm-hmm.
know who is going to watch. You never know. So I like to kind of always leave it with a call to action and all of that. Yeah. So what do you think we can do? I know that there are more than
Okay.
one thing. Just say whatever you think. So many
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I'll just say like what works for me generally, what works for me,
Okay.
because the main idea I think is to make people be able to speak up, make people to like
Yeah.
create a voice for the people, you see. And so
Mhm.
what works for me is like for people that had lived or that have lived experience, you see,
Yeah.
it's really transparency, it's really transparency. Try to be honest as possible, you see.
Mhm.
Don't try to like follow generally what everybody is doing,
My
like
hand is up.
like hiding parts of your life and showing, the only part that the world wants to see out there. So we should be able to show that these are our scars, these are our wounds. And when others will identify themselves with you, they'll be able now to like open up. I've had so many people around me being able to share or have a change in heart simply because I decided to stop hiding, to stop pretending. I try to be as honest as possible. When I'm not okay, I'm not okay. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm
Have you
struggling
have,
with.
have you seen that with me?
Exactly.
You've seen
Yeah,
you've seen that with
exactly.
me too, right? You've seen that with me too, right?
Exactly. And
No,
one thing
say it.
that I noticed,
Say it. You've seen that with
I've
me too,
seen,
right?
I've seen that,
Okay.
yeah. And
Okay.
one thing that I've noticed is sometimes it even shows like physically on you, you see. And you sure you
Ah.
don't try to like disturb everybody around you, but you just know. Like it's really know that she may not be okay, there's maybe too much pressure. But I really love the fact that you don't like put it on others, you see. or you really rather try to tell others that okay, this is what is happening, and we kind of observe to see how you get through that by yourself, or you kind of put it out there on the internet and you're like sharing with everybody.
And that helps, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly,
It
it
help
helps.
it
So
helps me and it helps you. So that's good. So that's one recommendation. Let us be more lived experience, engaged with more
mm-hmm,
vulnerability and
mm-hmm,
authenticity. The second
mm-hmm.
thing,
Well, another thing is at our level, like at our level, because it will be a little complicated to say like government intervention or so. At our level,
we
it's
can
really
always
up.
make that recommendation anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's really up to us to really like keep on doing things like this so as to
The
be able to create
organizations, right?
awareness. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so I
really,
mean I'm
yeah.
noting. So
So
we have three already. Mhm.
mm-hmm. So coming up with information to create awareness, to really like publicize what we do, to really share it out so that many people should have the information that there
And
are
do
things
more
like this.
research, because
Exactly,
sometimes when
research
you
too.
think it's just one person, you think it's just two people, but you and I, we have done some research, I mean, for some time now, and you see the numbers, right? There's so many people. I mean, I have worked with so many people, at least 300 people that I can say these are people who deal with mental health challenges, who have had stigma and all of those kind of things. So we have like 4 recommendations, 5 recommendations. I didn't even want to keep Mark for over 30 minutes, so we are into 37 minutes. So I'm just wrapping up and I'm just saying that that was really an interesting conversation. The network was much better than Saturday. So, I mean, I count it all joy. And I'll be having a third series. I will see if I can bring Mark back just so that he can say bye bye. Mark, can you come and say bye bye? I don't know. Mark,
Okay. Can you
yeah,
get me?
I will just say
I
bye bye. Yeah, I want the last word from you before we close. The network has been too kind today. Let's not take it for granted.
yeah. So anyways, as last word, what I can just say is that people with this drive or this desire, this passion to really help and carry advocacy, raise awareness, should really feel encouraged. Should really feel encouraged. We are not doing it for likes. We are not doing it for like finances. We are there to help people. So it's really like to build up more compassion, to invest in ourselves, like with the proper information, the proper tools to be able to help people out there. So we should just keep going and we should continue with these exchanges, sharing like this. It's a great opportunity for others to get to know that we are available.
Okay. So we are keeping this up. We are going to be organizing more. And thank God with the internet now, we don't need to be in the same office. So as much as
Mm-hmm.
physically, I'm not seeing you, I miss you, but virtually, I know where to get you at all times. So I really want to thank you so much. Mark, you are my son now, and I'm just so grateful. I have so many sons, but I know I told you from the very beginning, you are so special. I said because you are the same age, my daughter will have been your age. So that also makes it more special. And all my boys, they kind of like you, they respect you, they talk about you. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for those who are going to watch later, leave any comment. Thank you, those who joined and for all their hearts. Uh, well, until our next episode, right? Let's just say thank you to the internet for allowing us to at least have 39 minutes today. Okay. Take care, everybody. Until next time, God bless us all.